Is daai manual? Ek het hom nie.
Louis, ek share hom op WhatsApp en hy is beskikbaar in Google Drive. Ek share hom gewoonlik op WhatsApp en dan is hy in Google Drive.
Het jy hom nou geshare voor die meeting? Ek wil net kyk.
Ek het dit gister geshare. Kyk net gister.
Okay,
Sal jy hom
dankie.
sien. Right, let's rock and roll. Is julle reg? So today's conversation is a lot going to be geared around the buyer. And the reason why I've put this session in here is because in conversations with agents, I hear the stock is coming in. Stock, remember, we're not allowed to use that word, infantry. It's a very nice word. I hear that they are doing appointments with the buyers, but the buyers are not putting pen to paper. We're not converting. And that's why today's session is I want to remind you and let's chat a little bit about things we can do and things we should do to create that urgency with the buyers. A lot of the information today is geared buyer, but at the same time, it's script and information you'll be using when you're speaking to your sellers. Today's conversation is going to be a lot about you being the expert. I want you to think about, remember last week we spoke about your total value, your inventory list, your book value. What is Melaine Realty worth today in her total book value, her total database value of contacts, and then the convertibles in that? I want to remind you guys a little bit about, doing your homework before you go into a buyer consultation. Keller Williams, we talk about there's two sides to each transaction. And then, help you in finding the right property for that client, facilitate decision making, and then we'll recap on the bottom line. If you're following in your manual, I am on page 3. There it says today's takeaways. Your clients won't have a sense of urgency if you don't. You will learn how to create a level of urgency by being the expert, identifying their motivations, and addressing reluctance. Now, page 3 in the manual. The perspective of creating urgency, you need to sort of almost want to step out of the situation and look at it then to from the outside in. This create urgency doesn't mean put it in the car, grab it by the throat, drag it through the home loan division at F&B, and put a gun to its head and going, thou shalt buy or thou shalt. Nee? Okay? Perspective is always an idea. And luckily, we are all individuals and are different. So here's the challenge about this whole perspective. The media create misconceptions about homes today. And I can already almost see you roll your eyes and go, I sometimes read things in the media and people have comments about you're going to have X growth in your property or you're going to have this or that opinion the whole time. It creates angst with clients. The interest rates, the whole story around the interest rates, and we're going to have an in-depth discussion about it. A buyer is always in the back of their mind has got this thing of I'm going to pay too much for this. Bottom line, be aware of that. The moment your buyer goes through that front door, it's got that attitude of, I'm going to pay too much for this. Buyers do not have a sense of urgency. If I mean a sense of urgency, you know as well as what I do, we sometimes view 20 homes, I'm over exaggerating, with a buyer, and then they still are not making a decision. And then many agents think it's not a good time to buy. So hear me out. You all know, I'm forever busy shopping and talking to estate agents, and I'm a recruiter. Okay. Then I get this in conversations. Rolo, the market is dead. There's no buyers, no listings. Really, I really think, I don't know how I'm going to go forward in this. The agent creates their own illusion around the reality. This is what I mean with the challenges of perspective. Perspective. My word is so. PS. The truth is that the market has got very little to do with whether it is the best time to buy or not. There's a buyer for everything. People are buying and selling homes in this market. No one can truly time the market. If we can exactly say, yo, it's now a buyer's market and everything has happened, or yo, it's now a seller's market. A market is a market. Pick and pay. Don't go in hysterics, decide whether it is a market when recoffee is still recoffee. You are facilitating the most basic need of the human being, and that is to have a roof over your head. You have to put your stuff down 5 o'clock every day. Otherwise, thanks for playing and sleeping in the garden on the bench. Okay. So this perspective of the market or the market doesn't exist. Market is market. People's lives are changing. Somebody gets home today and then they saying to the wife, "Sorry for your mistake. This house has to be sold in 60 days. We have to go and live in Cape Town." That is a buyer whose life there's a seller happening. Now, to be able to have this understanding of it is just the market, and that it is your responsibility to educate the market, be the expert on the market and economy. No negatives, just positives. Know what is happening in the market. It is a conversational tool. Yes, the interest rate, the following is happening. Yes, the inventory lists in some areas are low. Have a proper buyer consultation. This thing of phoning at 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock, hello, I want to view the property. Really, really. Doesn't work like that. And when I mean that buyer consultation, I mean do a proper pre-qualification. Thou shalt not put a buyer in the car if you haven't got the proof. Let the home loans consultant do the lucid report. Get the information straight there. And if a buyer doesn't want to share this information with you, it ain't no buyer. Listen. Look at me there, capital. Listen. Man, If there is something that can drive me to insanity, it is the selective hearing that estate agents are born with. Do you know how much time you waste if you are not listening to what the client is saying? Make time. That part where we talk in Keller Williams of make 10 notes a day. It signs ties in with that. Because the better you listen, the more the information you have, the more detail and quicker we can get to the decision. Pricing and condition is two very important things you need to be aware of to be that expert. I still land in conversations where people are selling in that area for 5 years. They still don't know most of the information of the area. They still don't understand the different conditions and pricings, why a property would be selling at 1.5 and why a property would be selling at 1 million. Because they are fighting for the mandate and then they go and overprice it. Nobody is winning in this process, by the way. Match needs and wants. You are a lover. You are a facilitator. You need to match and bring it together so that I can have the experience. And I'm putting match needs and wants there very nicely. Your buyer consultation and your buyer sheet of asking questions and making notes should be available, should be used. Lessen fears about buying. Know your script. Know what you want to say. Have an answer. That's what I love about Keller Williams. You've got an answer for everything. So know what you are saying to those clients because people trust you when they hear you talk about a topic in confidence. Then they feel comfortable with you. Then they go, aha, this one's going to look like me after me. Let me hang with her. Your relationship with your bond originator, with your multi-net, is running beautifully. Your allied resource, like your attorney, you are checking in with them on a weekly basis. Why? Why am I hammering on that now? Ask for the updated loan to value schedules. Ask for the latest tables on to be quickly qualifying your client on what they would be able to afford. There's those beautiful tables that are available. You can save it on your phone. There's calculators you can use on the internet. But if you don't know what the loan to values is of the different banks, you are going to lose out on wasted time. You can't sign 100% bond on a vacant stand. You have to have a 50% deposit. Up to 2.5 million, one bank will do 100% loans. Anything above the 2.5, you have to have a 20% deposit. Now watch now what the agents does. Both the buyers are banking with Standard Bank. Okay? They sign 100% 3.5 million rand offer. Really? Now be aware. Know your information. Be the expert. Those that are following in the manual, I'm on page 4. Now, like you are wasting time in attending the training, you should be investing time in the research. Top ranked productive activities. Regeneration. I'll put it in there. If you are consistent in adding your 10 people by a seller, you create rhythm and routine. That way, you can quicker group the needs and wants of the people and have a true urgent list that is convertible money. The breakfast of champions is follow up. As jy nou vir my wil mal hê, is it people that are not following up or following through. Duh, it's called wasted costs. Let me explain this to you again. Great friend of mine owned a big Remax branch in Pretoria for years. His husband is very smart with calculations and working the spreadsheets and fat. I mean, they were running 140 odd agents at one stage. So they calculated it Sunday show house. Not the agent attending to the show house sitter. Rolo buyer walks in Sunday, ne? Puts all the information, says to the show house sitter, we really like this property. Show house sitter gives the agent Sunday night the list. Agent arrives Monday morning. It's an open mandate, by the way. Agent is now busy drinking coffee and carrying on and what. Only phone that person that Monday afternoon. Guess what? That buyer is already busy with Rawson and this property. Can you see the wasted costs that can happen? Here's the story. Buyer went to see the property with you the Wednesday. You got so busy with the athletics of the weekend, etc. Buyer then the Sunday walks into the neighbor's show house. You eventually Tuesday morning thought, sure, let me just check in. Offer made, done. Thanks for playing you out of the money. Appointments with prospects. Real estate transactions happens eyeball to eyeball, nose to nose, and belly to belly. You need to be extremely good at all these negotiations virtually and online and signing and all of that. Your rhythm in your planning to make sure that you have got that urgent need yourself to convert money is appointments. Minimum requirement is 2 appointments a day. You are like a medical doctor. If you don't cut 2 people open for the day, your hourly rate is going down. Listen to this one. And I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. I have had some people that gave me a glare when I said this. Thou, yes, you will have a sleepless night if you are not busy negotiating a contract or busy negotiating a mandate. If you get into 4 sleepless nights and you are now still not negotiating a new mandate or busy signing or negotiating a contract, what is the answer? Get up, get going, get lead generating, get on with the activity to bring the urgency and the information to your database. Does that make sense? Have I still got an audience?
Yes, you have.
Mooi. Louis, leer jy iets, hoor jy iets?
Ek hoor baie. Leer baie.
The CGI value tools, guys, like your suburb reports, the information that is on Lightstone. Use your trend reports of how many listings have I got, how many appointments have I got, how many of them that I convert. Look at the trend report to track your activity. Cash up every day at 5 o'clock. Because the moment you are going to look at your cash up and you're going to look at the value of your book, you are going to realize, Choppy, you need to get on the phone and get in front of the right people so that you can do the conversions. Use your data of tracking your conversions, your book, your ratios, as script with your buyers and your sellers. Want dan gaan hulle weet, they're going to listen to you and they're going to go. But Andre knows what he's talking about. We have to make a decision and buy. There's only limited options. If Andre is saying, listen, year on year, this is what happened in the area, this is what's happened, this is the probable, remember, price ahead, talk ahead of the market. Nee? Share your value. And that's why I'm now saying Andre. Andre's got these beautiful pictures and things that he's sharing of his successes at a family reunion. And the value is buying him urgency with clients because they almost feel like, listen, if you don't work with Andre, you're obviously not working with the right person. You'll see there on the bottom of page 14. Track your growth, compare your growth, and share your value. So there's the tale of two markets. Last week we discussed pricing, the importance of pricing, and how you would, a top price, a middle price, the wholesale price. Remember, we draw the picture with the two lines on the side. So where the competition versus the price versus the comparables. Okay. Now, when you look at that graph there, I want you to understand something very clearly about the two tails. Price and condition are the two factors that determine whether a home is on the market or in the market. Houses in the market are the most desirable ones. Those are the ones that's going to sell. Houses on the market is actually, in a way, out of the market because they are less desirable or than the competitive ones that are in the market. Why am I showing you this? Because again, I want you to go and look at your book value and your stock value and truly look at which is just that stock that fills and which are those ones that are truly in the market because A, the price is right, B, this. Because this is script that you're going to use with your buyers, with your sellers. If it's really a seller's market, then there will be way more properties sort of in the market for sale. And if I look at it the other way and change it, if it's really a buyer's market, then it means there's very little inventory. But there's a lot of it that's really just hanging and that are out of the market. I want to go back to these slides. That balance in the market and understanding it so that you can explain it to your clients because you want to facilitate the urgency for them to make a decision. So, knowing that, when is it a good time to buy? It's always a good time to buy. Bottom line, nothing grows like brick and mortar. And if you have a full list of everything, and we're going to discuss it later, but there's always that reason for buying now. Interest rates are still stable. I've been selling real estate 25 years. Let me tell you, there was at one stage we were selling it was 17 and 16.5% interest rate. I'm sure Andre will recognize this as well. We still sold when it was 16% interest rate. Home prices have become more affordable. Why did I put it in there? The trend, if I look at what the listed price is and what the offered price is and what it sells for, there's gaps. The gaps are fairly big, which means home prices in general are busy coming down. So that in the market inventory list is very, very important, because otherwise you're running around and with a lot of out of the market stock, right? If I say inventory is high there, what I want to say with that is, if you ever say to a buyer, "Yo, daar's nie stock nie." There is there's always stock. You must just be the rainmaker and go and find it. There isn't such a thing like there isn't inventory. Be a rainmaker, create the inventory. Start phoning through the neighborhood and offer free evaluations. And start building relationships. We come back to lead generation. I say strong economy. Why did I put that in there? Is purely, and listen, don't go with that load shedding and no water and all of that. Okay? People are still buying homes. Products are still moving. We are still in an economy and in a market. Okay. It's not like you can wake up one morning and say, okay, this is it. This is where we draw the line on what the reality is. And then we'll start living again in 5 years' time. Uh-uh. Well, it doesn't work like that. Believe we have a strong economy. If I say they're low unemployment, I can immediately sort of get the reaction of, what? I want to say there is that after COVID, we've got now more people's incomes and things are stable again. Remember, people had salary cuts, people have lost their jobs, etc. So what I mean with low unemployment meaning is we've got stability in the employment market. And this information I'm getting from the bond originators that are saying, Rolo, in our applications, what was a year ago is different now. So people, their employments, their incomes, they have recuperated the ripple effect. And by the way, it's always the right time for you because you want to convert the money. Now, that willingness, that urgency with a client is all about the relationship building, the right questions you need to ask. Do you want to risk missing a house that is perfect for you because you are waiting for a sliver of savings that may or may not be there? If we found your dream house right now, would it matter if the payment was a little more or less than what you were hoping for? Your little scrapbook where you have all your little paragraphs, your quirky scripts. Build that scrapbook, have that scrapbook available, because the more you practice it, using it during consultation, The quicker you're going to identify the urgency. Is it now to move this person, or is it on my CMID list? What I mean there with a sliver of savings is, you get some buyers, they sit and they say, nee, maar wag 'n bietjie. Maybe that house is going to come on and that one, and then I can get it at 2.2 instead of 3 million for this one. Hoping for a saving, you being the expert is going to educate them that thinking that property is going to be at 2.2, the reality is still, it's going to be because it is lovely, its location, it's X. Create a best buy list. Now, this is everything that is in the market. I'm not talking about that stock that is actually there out of the market. Condition, bad price. And this is your little lifeline you carry with you, or you email or have available. And keep it simple, the information. When I say always have a list of your best buys, and I mean, this can now be what you think. You can even in Keller Williams take a Camps Bay listing of Ronak Spammer. I'm sure he's not going to mind if you share his information. And have it as your best buy. So that when you are speaking to people in your lead generation, you've got the info to say, yo, I've got a 14 million for you in Camps Bay. Watch this. In your list, because of the factors for urgency, is the PIPs, the property in possession, the foreclosure lists. You should know in your area which properties are on that foreclosure list. Build a relationship with somebody in the banks. It's going to give you the answer. Standard Bank normally allocates the information to us. Wat is 'n bal hier in Engels? The local sheriff of the court will have a list of the public auctions and things that are going to happen. I think there's a raised hand. You're welcome to talk. Yes. Did I miss a raised hand there? Right. Let's move on. The for sale by owners. If you want to have instant rapport with a buyer and a seller in this urgency of moving in and out of the true market, is having that list of everything that is for sale by owners available as well. Price reductions. Your price reductions of your stock that happens every 14 days. Remember, we had the pricing discussion last week. Cut a price reduce. That is part of your base buy list that's available. Everything that has been going through a price reduction this week. It goes out on an instant touch and a campaign to everybody, and it goes, here's my best buys, check this. There's a Camps Bay property. Here's the price reductions. New homes on the market. Mandate Monday. If you do not have a new mandate on a Monday, I don't know what you're doing for the rest of the week. Minimum requirement to be consistent in real estate is a minimum requirement is one listing a week. Minimum requirement. And I always stick to that one of mandate Monday. I like Monday night for myself, for my mandate presentation. Then normally their homes are clean. Most people have got cleaning services and staff running around on a Monday. The house is clean. We can do beautiful photos. Mandate Monday. Okay. So if I say builders promotions, I'm not talking about builders warehouse. What I'm saying there is your allied resources in the area. Know what the local builder is going to charge per square meter. What is the going rate for renovations to be done? Have a testimonial of somebody that has recently assisted somebody in any renovations. That is script and information in your best buys that is going to create that urgency with clients because they're going to see, Louis verstaan wat hier aangaan. It's not wondering. We have to hang with this person. Hmm. Top listing agents in desired area. I think maybe my English wasn't there too good. What I'm saying is promote your competitor as well. And I can imagine your eyes rolling and you're getting ice cold and you're thinking, what, Rolo, on my best buys list, you want me to tell people, check out Pam Golding's lacquer mandate? Yes, because if you are aware of that stock, the question is, why don't you have that? Or where is the relationship with the Pam Golding? Because we want to do quicker conversions, quicker money. And we need to learn, we as Keller Williams agents needs to learn and educate the market, the agents out there about sharing. Is julle nog okay?
Ons is lekker, dankie.
Mooi.
Thanks, Rola, ons is goed.
Mooi, môre Debbie, môre leer julle iets. Maak dit sin?
Baie, baie dankie, dit maak baie sin.
Mooi. Mooi. To be able to facilitate urgency with clients, buyers, sellers. And I'm coming back to do your homework. Believe you me, not only in recruiting conversations, me being a buyer myself, have walked into scenarios where if this agent actually just did the homework and focused, we wouldn't have wasted time or effort, right? Does the market agree? This is hard in South Africa, really, to be able to determine this, how long a property has been on the market. But if you look at private property, Property 24, and you really take time, waste your time in your research and doing your homework, in creating your folder, your book of information. And really know how long property has been on the market. Let's talk about pricing, that list price, the condition, and the selling price. It's almost like you want to evaluate all the Pam Golding stock and all the Steve stock and all of that is on private property, Property 24. Because effectively, that is also your stock. The fact that it's not in your book yet is just a process. If you, in conversations with clients, can say, Pam Golding has had that for 3 months now on a mandate, beautiful home, lovely photos, priced at, in my opinion, I think it's probably going to sell for X. Use your list. It's no point in you creating all of this beautiful information around your market and your research and what is happening, but you're not leveraging it, using it. And like your best buy, it's not like just give it out, okay? It's offer people access to your information. It sort of creates this thing with them where they go, yo, no, we have to hang with Rolo. That dude has got some information. And when he goes, yes, we say yes. Appointments, viewings, show the houses on your list. Your rhythm and your routine in your operational planning for your real estate business is minimum 10 people added to your database, minimum 4 listings a month, minimum 2 appointments a day. Mandate Monday is not negotiable. You will not go to bed if you are not negotiating a contract or busy with a new sole mandate. Can I have a yes? That urgency you want to bring with clients. Now you've got your lovely list and you know exactly which ones you are focusing on, which ones is the price reductions, which ones you are offering. But by listening, sometimes we keep bombarding our databases and people with the information and ons het geluister. And we have pre-qualified them, everything. And they are so in love with Zander. The only person they want to buy from is her and she's got nothing else. And then the Pam Goldings don't want to share, etc. Once the motivation and urgency and the listening and the matching is all about the relocation, the dissatisfaction of why they're not Pam Golding. People are having life changes. Some people are buying second homes. Some people have sold their home and they need to move on. The information about the timing regarding the end of a lease, you have to empower yourself with that scripted information because that is an urgency with people. I'm getting to the end of my lease, end of September. I need to be in my new home in October. Then, if I have to work it back and calculate the time frame for transfers, etc., you have to make a decision by Saturday. Otherwise, we're going to start paying occupational rent when you move into the new property. I've put that investment word in there purely because when I say find it for them, you should always in your little black book, in your little gatsak, have a special. Okay? That one key that just goes. What is that I'm talking about? It is an investment unit where there is a tenant in it and the tenant pays lovely. It sits here argumentatively next to Vodacom and Midrands, a desirable area because most of the employees that are renting there works at Vodacom. You buy it at 650 and it's got an income of about 8,000. You buy it for 700 and it's got an 8,500 rand income a month. So it's almost like you use the bank's money, so it washes its own face. Because if you do the calculation for the client, where you say this is what it's going to cost you with the current interest rate, with the levy, etc., you are literally going to contribute 1,500 towards the investment. You should have chummies if you don't have it yourself. Because in conversations and by asking the right questions, always somebody has got an ear out. Listen, here's my best buy. I've got a lovely flat. Here's the income. Here's the this. Here's the that. When you educate the people, you create the urgency for them to make a decision. You are creating cash flow and a chippy. Ons noem hom 'n chippy that goes. It's your bottom line. It keeps the baseline of the business running. Does that make sense what I mean there with investment? That little special one there in your little black book. Listen, the advantages of home ownership. And I just want to remind you that home ownership in South Africa is the most expensive than in anywhere else in the world, by the way. But nothing grows like brick and mortar. I love that saying. Buy land now, they've stopped making it. If you are in a market where you typically work with first time buyers, they are going to need a lot of holding hands, etc. And they're probably moving out of a rental home or out of a parent house or something like that. We need to educate our clients. Not every buyer. You will get people, even sellers, that have bought and sold before that still don't know the process and the why. You can wakker that urgency by educating them. Build equity, brick and mortar. I've just told you the investment story. Grow that wealth. There's nothing in securities for banks, for your wealth plan, like owning real estate. And that is a fundamental law across the globe. Stability. When people own homes and they've got home ownership, and you create that urgency that they can understand that this is what you need to have every day by 5 o'clock to put your stuff down, to have that life you're living. And this show what they will buy as almost like show the seller what they are competing against in your, and the comparative market analysis here is very, very important. Because if you know the inventory, you've got your best buy list, you know the non-negotiables, you know the needs and the wants, you knowing what are the best buys in the market, even if it is the CF listing. It has happened so many times that I've spoken to a buyer and I've educated them so nicely and matched them, and I knew, oh my word, they're gonna walk straight into that show house on Sunday. Thanks for playing, Rolo. You've closed the deal for that agent's Christmas. Verstaan jy? And I'm actually almost like, why didn't you have the sole mandate? I mean, really, Rolo. Deal making is when you buy a second-hand car. Buyers that start a conversation with, will the seller look at offers? Have you heard that one before? How negotiable are they? I'm looking for a good deal. Deal making is second-hand car sales. We are facilitating relationships in a contractual manner. Is it a raised hand there? You're welcome to talk. No. Oh, people joining in. Oh. If there is communication from or any of those words that I've just mentioned to you, it's almost like I want to say to you is, whoa, with that urgency. Deal making does not happen in real estate transactions. Please communicate the consequences to your clients all the time. Follow through, follow up, feedback. Joe, that property you looked at, I've had another two clients there. They're going to make an offer. They are not subject to the selling of their home. Those of you that are following in the manual, I am page 10. How to facilitate decision making. The media says this, says that. People are that. Benefits and features. I want to come back to that. I want to remind you about this. Remember last week when we had the discussion on pricing, I was talking about your writing pad, making things, write things down when you're busy with the seller discussing the pricing or the buyer. All I want to show you here is, and that's where it's on in the manual, you'll see there the two blocks. These post-its, yellows and pink ones. It has worked for years and it will forever be working. When you're sitting in a consultation with the client and they're not getting to a decision, give them a pen and a yellow and a pink, have it available. Post-its, and let them write down the pros and the cons of the features, the benefits on the different colors. I've even had it with a buyer in the car before when I've realized we're on our way to the seventh property and this person is changing its mind every time we look at it. Then I started with the post-its on the dashboard. Start plucking the pros and the cons, because that way they're eliminating their own needs and wants and setting goals and creating urgency in facilitating wanting to make a decision. Does that make sense? There's a cost for clients if they don't get on with it and don't get on with the decision. The sooner they buy, they can build equity in that home, get it at X, growth will be at X. By keep on viewing and viewing and viewing, and you, the property professional and eiendomsagent realtor, did not utilize your skills in getting to a close, forever ask for the close. Obviously, there's an inventory. I say their selection of best homes is limited. I've put it in there. I know that. It's like it's almost double up on your activities at this point of time, guys, so that you can have that best buys list, create urgency for your own database and bank account. The market will shift and create and great buys will be gone. These people that are advertising, not even listed, sold already. And I'm going, yeah, lekker. This one knows how to work the database. Purely because their best buys and their database is here. So that when they get that stock, the relationship is so owned and sorted that the info goes immediately. you will create urgency with your clients, buyers, sellers, by removing fears. People want to feel safe in your space for the decision making. Your CMA, your light stones, and I keep reminding you on it. Do the calculations, let the person speak to the bond originator. Talk to them about their incomes. You know, you will get by agents that put people in the car up, down, up, down, up, down. And then eventually they ask them, listen, so by the way, what do you earn and how are you going to pay for this? Now, I earn 10,000 and I earn 12. A total household income of 22 and we want to buy R1 million home. Let me think about this. It's not going to happen. And when I say remove fears here as well, I want you to understand the seller side. The moment you are empowering the seller with your correct pricing, your expert, your light stones, you're taking those fears away. I always say your mandate presentation in building the relationship with the seller must always make the seller almost feel like they are in control and they can see why you are working for them. In the manual, I am on page 11. Incentives and concessions. Now, whoa. There's, there's, way, when you have more solutions than problems for either your buyer or your seller, you bring urgency to them to either appoint you or sign with you. Because you always have that allied resources or that incentive or that last rabbit in the hat, if that's actually Hassenhood, the direct translation, if I can say it like that. If you buy this, the seller is willing to replace the carpets, are willing to do this. You can pick the tiles because the seller has to move. If you give us the deposit at a low occupational rent, you can occupy the property, start doing the renovation. I know we don't give occupation ideally before registration, but in certain cases, there is no other way around it. Know what else is there in your area that is a allied resources that could be offered as a product to facilitate quicker decision making for your buyers and your sellers, and we forget about it. And again, that brings us to one of the else, leverage allied resources in your area. Always be asking for the close. In all conversations, you should be closing all the time. Do you want to make the offer? Would you like to sign the mandate? Is this the house you want to buy? If you love this house, someone else will. I love mine. One of my favorite ones is, listen, I've got a black paint if you've got a checkbook. Oh, then they all laugh. Hmm? Can we use your checkbook as well, Rolo? The next person that is looking at this house is probably going to be making an offer. And then they try these things on me and they say, "Yo, you sound like a typical salesperson." No, I'm not. Because I've showed you what homes are in the market, what they are selling for, who they are in the market with, Pam Golding and Steve, what is their time frames that they've been on the market. Can I tell you how many times in my life People have said to me, Rolla, ek moes vir jou geluister het daai dag. I should have bought that property. You know, it's like my feet feels like they want to make fists, and I'm going, yeah, and that's where, you know, I did give you all the information. I have taken all the fear away. I couldn't get you over that line, purely because you felt it wasn't the right time. Bottom line, page 12. Be an expert in your market. Like Andre, I'm using Andre Urtel now as an example. He can do a red bus tour ride with you right around the Val Marina and give you a full bouquet because he knows his market. Red light, green light, we always lead with revenue, guys. Make sure you educate your clients. Articulate why it's always a good time to buy. Be so smart in your object handling is a better word. Because the more object handling we get out of the way, the quicker the urgency will be to make the offer or the sign the mandate. Your base buy list should be ready and available there. If Quest says to you tomorrow, Rolo, that base buy list must be able to go. Have it available. I want to remind you to please learn to show homes that meets the needs and wants and listen to the clients. It's a be forewarned, and I see it all the time. Agents up, down, in, out, schlepping, vice, eyes. And then the result from the effort, time over task does not add up. And remember, it's not deal making. You are the facilitator of the decision making process, either in signing the mandate or in putting your buyer's hand on paper, signing the contract. I'm well ahead of time today because I've said so much. Please talk to me. Any ahas, anything you are going to do today that are going to be different in your approach with your clients. Have I triggered a reminder somewhere? Please talk to me.
Rolo, I should definitely start that black book with all the best buys.
Yep, there we go. I'm so glad. Thanks for sharing that, Melaine. That little black book of all the best buys should be available. And like go to your website or this or that. But that little black book, and not all, like the investment unit story that I talk about. We always land up speaking to people that say, where would I be able to get a good buy? Your best buy should almost have guest houses for sale, farms for sale. That is how progressive as a realtor your book should be. Thanks for sharing, Melaine. Anybody else?
Rolo, I'd also find the cheapie in the area.
So, say that again, Melaine.
I will also find the cheapie in the area so you have that in your back pocket to
Yes.
come up with.
Yes. That correctly priced in the market, correct condition one that is really on your 14-day slice list to convert. Yes, please. Anybody else?
Rhoda, yes, I'm on my way to do a listing and it's in the same price as 124 other houses in the area. So everybody says I'm not really desperate to sell. You must understand, anybody that wants to give you a mandate wants to sell. When they say they are not desperate to sell, it's just an ego thing. They are trying to tell you, die Here weet, can you get me my money as soon as possible? So you can tell the client, I can list your property, but that doesn't mean it's in the market. It will be out the market unless we price it correctly.
Mm, mm, mm. Well done, Andre. Yes, please. Thank you. Music to my ears. Exactly that. That big one. When you walk into that appointment knowing that I am after in the market real estate that can be converted into money. It happens to so many of us, and it happens too quickly, that we are brilliant in collecting an inventory list, but it's a lot of out of the market. And if your scope is a lot out of the market, that urgency won't be there in that best buys. Yes, please. Anybody else that wants to talk to me? No? Anybody else to share a aha? Silence in the room. I hope I've pressed a button today that you can go and activate understanding your best buys, understanding bringing urgency to clients so that you can value yourself in your hourly rate, in what are you worth. Awesome. Thanks, Andre. Thank you, guys. Have an awesome one. See you towards the new week, ne? And please, I welcome gifts. It is Happy Valentine's Day. So if you want to share those offers, please send it my way. Enjoy the day of love. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Just
you, Rolo.
Thank you,
Same to
Rolo.
you.
yeah,
Thank you,
Thank
Rolo.
bye.
you.
Bye.